And we continue. So share the screen. And now start with the current slide. Do we see the slide full screen?
No,
No.
No? Well, let us stop it and try one more time. Now? Is it full screen?
Ma'am. Yes.
Good. So now let us focus on this slide, and here we can see the BMI chart. BMI stands for Body Mass Index. And so we are going to decide how to persuade Mr. Ford to lose his weight through exercise. And you can see that he weighs 110 kilograms and he's 1 meter 80 centimeters tall, and his waist size is 110 centimeters. And so if we focus on this chart, we can see that there is information which is given to the left. This is the height of a person in feet and inches, and to the right we can see the metric system, so the height of people in meters. And at the bottom of the chart there is information about weight in stones, and at the top also the metric system, weight in kilograms. And the colors that are shown here, they indicate so the standards of weight. So it means that, for example, the color which is light yellow, light beige, this is underweight. So then there is a normal weight of people of a certain height, and then there is the darker color indicates overweight, then obesity, and the person is morbidly obese, the darkest color, the red color shows this. And so we need to explain this to Mr. Ford, and just to show that he's overweight and or even obese, and just to encourage them to lose his weight doing exercise. Well, what should we say to this person? And if we look at the height of which is given here to the right, and so to the corresponding weight, we need to find out whether he's overweight or obese. So who would like to comment on this chart?
he's obese.
He is obese. So
Why?
he should reduce weight.
The normal.
Because it's 110 kgs, ma'am. His weight is.
His normal waist must be between 80 to 85.
No, it's so overweight. And the normal should be, it starts
70,
65.
65.
60 to 70.
60
60.
to
60 to 70.
85.
to 85. let us say, yes, from 60 to 85. And he weighs 110, so he's obese.
Overweight.
Yes, obese. So this is the red zone in the chart. Okay, so you can compare, for example, your height and your weight just using this chart. But anyway, it's for yes, for people of higher age, I think, so because younger people, they are always just they have normal weight, most of them. Okay, and this chart is widely used by doctors to just when they speak about the people with the obesity and overweight people. Okay, now let us focus on the language here, language spot. When doctors encourage patients and make suggestions about their lifestyle, we can use modal verbs. So for tentative suggestions, we can use the modals like could, can, and might. One and the same phrase can be said using different modal verbs, like it's shown in the example. You could, for example, get off the bus one stop early, or you can, for example, get off the bus one stop early, or you might like to try, for example, getting off the bus one stop early. All these just modals are possible when you suggest some changes, minor changes in the lifestyle of your patient. And so there is one more possibility. Here, the other modal verbs should, shouldn't, ought, oughtn't. They are used for strong suggestions. Generally, these verbs are used in order to give advice, but be careful. This can be annoying rather than encouraging and are probably best avoided. We should avoid so using these modals when we talk to a person and we want to show sympathy to this person. Such example as you should give up smoking, you shouldn't eat fatty foods. So they may sound annoying. And so just keeping in mind this information, you let us just think how to change the sentences. So there are several sentences and there are some phrases given in brackets, and we should use these phrases in brackets just to change the sentence. I think it's rather easy and we can do it now together. Now let us just start with Manish. So the first sentence is for you.
Yes, ma'am. You should try to take it easy for a couple of days and have couple of days off. Have you thought of
So after
taking couple of days off?
okay, or have you sort of taken it easy? Yes, and
Yes.
having a couple of days off.
Off.
Yes, okay, good. Because after the preposition, we need ing form, gerund. Okay, Pradeep, the next sentence is for you.
It's better to step up the exercise very gradually.
So, do you use it's better?
It's better to step up the exercise very gradually.
Okay, yes, I see now. Okay, Rohita.
Yes, ma'am. You could spend more time on a physically demanding form of exercise.
So it's more polite. Okay. Well, Bhuvanesh, please.
Yes, ma'am. Instead of the red meat, you can eat a white meat or fish.
Great. Well, then, Sohita.
Yes, ma'am. You can try to do something which will get you out and about.
Okay, good. Then Adnan.
You should have a balance rather than a crash diet. You might have a balanced rather than a crash diet.
Okay, so these are the phrases that can be used in the conversation with your patient, and here is here are some more ideas about changes in the lifestyle just to lose weight. So the question: what encouragement would you give to a patient who is trying to lose weight? So the ideas are given here. So in to the left, and we should use them starting with the phrases with the phrases which are given to the right, like try to avoid if you can. You could have something instead of the other and the other phrases. So please give a patient some piece of advice or encourage. So using the ideas from this slide, or you may suggest your own ideas. So let us listen to Khadija, please.
Yes, ma'am.
So what would you recommend?
If you can start eating biscuits and cakes only once a weekend, it will be better. Not all the time.
Okay, good idea. So what else?
Instead of drinking 2 to 4 liters of fluid daily, you should start taking hot tea.
Okay. So who would like to add something here?
If you can
Try
put
to
fiber in your
avoid.
food.
Yes.
You can have white meat instead of red meat.
It's better to have white meat rather than red meat.
Okay, the same idea. Yes.
Instead of drinking tea or alcohol, you could have a water of 4 to 5 liters daily.
So good. What about ways of cooking?
It's better to grill, steam, or poach instead of frying it.
Exactly. Yes, very important. And so what else?
Okay, you might like to try fish oil twice or thrice a week. Have you ever thought of having fish oil twice or thrice a week?
If you can include olive oil or any healthy oil than instead of a normal oil for cooking, which is healthy.
Yes, great. Well, yes. So everything just, yes, good. Thank you. And now, so there is some information about effective negotiation on the part of doctor or nurse. It also requires some sympathy or empathy. So you know that these words are very, very close in meaning to each other. So the difference is blurred. But here, let us try to understand this difference. So when we negotiate to a patient, and we just say some, use some reasons to persuade him to do something. So showing sympathy means feeling for the patient from your knowledge of other people's experience. And empathy is feeling that is based on personal experience. As you see in the picture, the first picture illustrates sympathy. So this is like logical. And the second is the feeling that goes from your heart. This is feeling that is based on personal experiences. This is empathy. And if we look at this slide, so decide which of these best explains sympathy and which explains empathy. So let us listen to Mayuka, the first one.
Yes, ma'am. Understanding the patient's feeling because you have seen other patients in similar situations before. Sympathy.
Yes, because this is other patients, other people. Okay, Rina?
Yes, ma'am. A mixture of self-experience and understanding of the patient's condition. I think it is empathy.
Empathy, yes, self-experience. Well, Bhargavi?
Yes, ma'am. Understanding what the patient is feeling because you have experienced it yourself. It's empathy.
Okay, and the last one, please, Vidya.
An understanding of what the patient is feeling based on clinical knowledge. It is empathy, ma'am.
So it's based on clinical knowledge, on your logic. I think
Yes,
it's sympathy. Sympathy. Okay. And similar task here. There are statements made by a doctor. Decide which are sympathetic and which empathetic. Okay, so let's start with this. So, and Lahari, please, the first sentence. Lahari? Hello? Lahari, different?
Yes, ma'am.
You're here? Please, the first sentence, Lahari.
Yeah, ma'am. I know it's not easy to change habits because I have faced the same problems myself.
So is the doctor sympathetic or empathetic?
I think sympathetic, ma'am.
He says, I faced the same problems myself. So he's speaking about his own. So empathetic, yes.
Empathetic,
Okay.
ma'am.
Well, Manish, please, the next one.
Giving up smoking isn't easy, but have you thought perhaps of cutting down gradually? Sympathetic.
Good. Pradeep?
When people try to make changes like this, at first it seems difficult. It's a sympathetic, ma'am.
Yes, okay, yes. The next is for Bhuvanesh. Bhuvanesh?
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it's difficult, but have you thought of the advantages of giving up?
Is it sympathetic or empathetic?
Sympathetic, ma'am. Sympathy.
And I've missed Rohita. So the last sentence, Rohita.
I know what it's like because I have been there myself. Empathetic.
Yes. And so to show empathy, the doctor speaks about his own experience. I faced the same problems myself. I have been there myself. Do you think that they sound very personal? Too personal? And is it good in the conversation with the patient?
Yes, ma'am. I think it's good.
Or
because
yes.
Because ma'am, we are human beings and we can face the same problem in our lives.
Okay, but I think there are some limitations for this empathy because so when a patient comes to a hospital, he or she expects some expert advice, not only the sympathy or empathy. Of course, it's good, but a patient can find this empathy in family, from the members of the family, and he expects a different just approach from doctors, like being a professional to be able to give some expert advice to them. Well, and yes, here we are going to start some reading, and there is the information from the Australian Social Trends year 2007, and this is about overweight and obesity. Overweight and obesity pose a major risk to long-term health by increasing the risk of chronic illnesses. And for example, in 2005, 7.4 million people aged 18 years old and over, which is 54% of the adult population, were classified as overweight or obese, an increase from 5.7 million adults, which is 45% of the adult population in 1995. This is the data from Australia, and we are going to read some information about this. And before reading the text, let us look at the sentences and try to complete them with your own ideas. So what you think about these statements? Let us listen to Suhita, please, the first sentence.
Yes, ma'am. Obesity is the result of having unhealthy food habits.
Okay. Okay. Any more ideas?
Overeating.
The same.
Sometimes hereditary.
And not having an active lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next sentence, Afnan, please.
Lifestyle factors associated with obesity are overeating.
The same. And any other? The other lifestyle factors?
Without any exercises.
So yes, leading a sedative life, sitting always at work, at desk. Okay, the next sentence is for Khadija, please.
Yes, ma'am. Obesity affects long-term health.
How?
By long-term health, we get a lot of diseases. We are unable to walk properly.
What kind of diseases?
First is kind of mental traumas, because all the other people are looking at us and making fun of us that we are obese. And then other kind of mental, like heart problems because of too much cholesterol, and cannot do anything by ourselves. Other people have to take us to places.
Yes, good. Well, and the next one is for Mayuka.
The cost of obesity in Australia was.
So we are speaking about some problem in the state scale, right? And can you think of any just figure that shows us the cost of obesity in Australia?
I think it's 1.4 lakhs.
1.4 what?
Lakhs.
Okay, so anyway, we can find it this information in the text that we are going to read now. Now, yes, there is the first portion of the first paragraph of the text, and let us listen to Rina, please. Rina, read it.
Overweight and obesity have become worldwide concern, reaching epidemic proportion. Obesity is caused by any energy imbalance where energy intake exceeds energy expended over time. This imbalance has been linked to lifestyle factors such as increased consumption of food with high levels levels of sugar and saturated fats, as well as a reduction in physical activity.
Mhm. Okay, so this is about the cause of obesity. Mhm. Okay, so the next paragraph. Let us listen to Bhargavi.
Yes, ma'am. Overweight and obesity pose a major risk to the long-term health by increasing the risk of chronic illness such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and some cancers. It has been estimated that obesity and its associated illness cost Australian society and governments a total of $21 billion in 2005. In July 2006, the Australian government implemented a 5-year, $500 million program, the Australian Better Health Initiative, aimed at reducing the impacts of chronic diseases, which include a focus on promoting healthy weight.
Mhm. Here is the information about how much it cost to Australian state. So when we speak about obesity, okay. Well, and also the information about the risk of chronic illnesses associated with obesity and overweight. Okay, so the next piece of information is for Vidya.
Yes, ma'am. This article discusses adults who were classified as overweight or obese according to their body mass index based on self-reported height and weight.
Okay, and now main information, Lahari, please.
Yeah, ma'am. In 2004 and 5, more than half of all adults, or 7.4 million people aged 18 years and overweight, either overweight or obese, an increase from 45% in 1995. Using age standardized data, the rate of overweight adults has increased from 33% in 1995 to 36% in 2004 4 and 5. While the rate of obesity in adults has increased from 13% to 18% over the same period. Each of the national health surveys conducted since 1995 has reported a higher rate of overweight and obesity for males than for females.
It's interesting. So they increase in the rate of overweight males is higher than among the females. Okay, and okay, the next paragraph is for Manish.
Yes, ma'am. For many people, particularly men and older women, self-perception of acceptable weight differs from the standard BMI definitions. This may have implications for the management of healthy body weight in adults. In 2004 and 5, more than half of the adults, that is 63% of males and 15% of females, consider themselves to be of acceptable weight. The proportion of males is 32% and females 38%, who considered themselves to be overweight was considered lower than those who were classified as overweight or obese according to their BMI, that is 62% and 45% respectively.
This is about self-perception of people who are overweight. They don't agree that they weight more than normal standard. Okay, and now please, Pradeep, continue reading.
Yes, from between 1995 and 2004 to 2005, after adjusting for differences in the age structure of the population, the proportion of peoples in the overweight and obese BMI categories who consider themselves to be the acceptable weight increased. In 2004-2005, almost half of males and around 1/5 of females who were overweight or obese, considering themselves to be of acceptable weight. This compared with age standardized rates of around 1/3 for males and 12% for females in 1995.
A lot of figures. Just now, let us look at the statements, at the sentences, and so there are the same sentences we were speaking before reading, and So now when we read the article, what does the article say about this, Rohita? The first one.
Yes, ma'am. Like obesity, ma'am, it is energy imbalance, ma'am.
Balance, yes. So the
Energy intake exceed energy expended over time.
Okay. So that goes inside and outside the body, right? Okay. So here the second one is for Bhuvanesh. Number 2.
Yes. Lifestyle factors associated with the obesity are maybe the intake of exceed energy and maybe the energy imbalance.
So, and lifestyle factors. So what do people do? Not what the energy does, but what the people do. So, okay. Lifestyle
Increasing
factors.
consumption of sugar, high level of sugars and saturated fatty acids.
And not doing physical
activities.
activity. Okay. So that was Bhuvanesh. Now, so Hita, the next one.
Yes, ma'am. Obesity affects long-term health by increasing risk of diabetes and some cancers and cardiovascular disease.
Exactly. Okay. And there is also information. So, Afnan, please, about the cost of obesity in Australia.
Yes,
You
ma'am,
remember?
21 million ma'am, in the 2005.
Sorry, will you repeat, please?
21 billion.
21 million. Yes, you got a very good memory. And so a couple of more sentences here. Khadija, number 5, please.
Yes, ma'am. Dash a higher rate of obesity.
What is missing here?
Dash like a country.
Okay. So who can help us?
Males have a higher rate of obesity than females.
Males, yes, have a higher rate of obesity than females. Okay. And number 6, Mayuka, please.
Self-perception of own body weight among men and older women has implications for management of better, like healthy body weight.
Okay. Okay, good. And so there are a couple of questions here on this slide. So can the medical profession alone change perceptions about lifestyle, weight, exercise, smoking, and drinking? Only doctors, they will just talk to their patients. Can they change anything?
I think family members also can change if we motivate them to do so, not only medical professions. So
who else can help doctors to make changes about lifestyle of people with bad habits?
Psychiatrist.
Sorry, psychiatrists? They are also doctors, I think. No? Okay.
Some good friends.
Self-motivation.
Self-motivation, okay. And so, I mean, people live and experience the influence from what kind of sources of information? Where do they get information from? From media, yes?
Movies and media.
Movies, yes. So television, just internet. And so they also influence our perception of lifestyle. Mhm. And can the states influence the opinion of people about lifestyle? Can the government do anything in this direction?
They can have some rules to punish them.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yes.
like that cigarette smoking is not allowed or something like this.
In some places, yes. Mhm. There are some special places for smoking, and people can't smoke in restaurants, in just government offices, right? In the malls. Mhm. Okay, yes, that's it. Well, and yes, we have only 2 minutes left. That is why we need to focus on the home assignment. So we've done 3 units, and the home assignment will be we go to the same, follow the same link, and we choose advanced level, and we choose medical English for health professionals. Yes. And then the same module, which is available for free, the sample taking a medical history. And we have done 1, 2, and 3 units. And this time we should complete units 4 and 5. So we should complete these units and just take the screenshot of the ready-made task, or take a photo and upload this in a PDF file to Moodle site. So